All right, we're live. We're live. Welcome to episode 31 of the Pro Go Baduk and Weiqi podcast. I'm Xiao Dai, and we have
Gaza.
and a very special guest today, and he is
Zin?
Sin.
Zin?
Yeah, Zin. Xin. Yeah, cool. Um, Zin is a very special guest. Gaza, do you want to tell us about Zin?
Okay, I guess so. Zin is a good friend of ours who happens to be an extremely strong amateur player. He's represented Australia at the World Amateur Go Championships.
Yeah,
And yeah, one of the also completely self-taught.
yeah.
Really strong player.
And he's one of the few players at the World Amateurs to not have his shirt tucked in when he entered the stadium.
Apparently, that was a style choice.
Yeah, all right, okay, yeah. Now Gaza, we had and Zin, we had the exhilarating Samsung Cup last week. Unless you have been living under a rock, you probably know what's happened. But we've covered all the way up till the semi-finals, I believe. Gaza, last time.
Yes.
And
So yeah, we covered the semi-finals, and obviously it was a historic result in that Choi Jeong qualified for the final, becoming the first woman to qualify for a world major
yeah,
final. Unfortunately for her, it turned out that the other finalist happens to be the best player in the world, Shin Jinseo.
yeah,
And not only is he the best player in the world, but he was on a mission this year, having reached the final of the previous two Samsung Cups, but having lost both of them.
yeah.
So it was even more determined than usual to finally get that trophy.
Yeah, and just to highlight how great Shin Jinseo his form has been in the last a couple of years. So apparently, he's broken the record for the number of consecutive international title competitions that he's made a final of, because he's made 6 consecutive finals of international tournaments. So I think there are Shin Jinseo has made the 25th, 26th, and 27th Samsung Cup final, and also the 13th Chunlan Cup, the 9th In Cup, and the 26th LG Cup, 6 in a row. And I believe the last record was Lee Chang-ho, making 5 consecutive international competition finals in a row. So this is a little bit of a historic moment.
Yes, and he's also just this year alone in international competition. So that is the World Majors, the Kuksu Mountains International, and the Nongshim Cup. Up until this final, he played, I think, in 17 games in international tournaments, and he'd won 16 of them. And the other game was the game that ended up being voided in the Nongshim Cup against Miyu Ting because of technical issues.
Yeah,
So he hasn't actually lost a game yet in international competition
yeah, that's
this
crazy.
year. That
Yeah,
is.
yeah. Now apparently his record versus Chinese players in international tournaments is now standing at 24 consecutive wins. But unfortunately for Shin, Choi happens to be Korean. So, Zin, we are here to ask your to show us what's happened in the final games and give us a review of the Samsung Cup. So, shall we go into the first game?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. And our first game, Samsung Cup final is the best of 3, and game 1 is Shin Jinseo as white and Choi Jeong as Shin Jinseo is black and Choi Jeong as white, and that's the game that you see on the screen right now. So Zin, take it away.
Yeah, hopefully I got this game right, then mix it up with the other one.
Yeah.
But all right, so I don't know. What did you guys think of the game? Did you enjoy it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure, absolutely. I mean,
100%.
just seeing Shin Jinseo and Choi Jeong play each other, was something that hasn't happened in 2 years, and they are two of the most popular players in Korea, perhaps the two most popular players. So seeing them play each other, regardless of the quality of the game, was quite something, and to have it be the Samsung Cup final was particularly special.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I think I enjoyed game 2 more than game 1, but I think both games are pretty educational, so I think we'll learn something. Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait.
So I think game 1 starts off a little bit unusual. So they each take a corner, and then black starts by invading the 3-3 point, which is pretty standard. Choi chooses to play c6, which is a Joseki, so that's pretty standard. But then she decides not to continue in the bottom left corner. Instead, goes for this Q4 attachment in the other corner. So I don't know. I feel like this kind of tactic is a little bit unusual. Maybe I haven't seen a lot of like the recent trend lately, but for me it feels a bit unusual.
No, I don't think I've seen this in a pro game.
No.
Yeah, because normally white when white plays c6, normally white would want to continue because the stones are kind of touching each other, right? So like a normal Joseki sequence would be something like this, right? And then that will continue. So this is a bit of a complicated Joseki, so we won't get into it much, but essentially that's what will happen. But instead, she goes for this attachment on the other corner. So I think, I'm going to speculate here, I don't know what she's thinking, but I think her plan is something along these lines. So she's kind of expecting Shin Jinseo to play R4.
Yep.
And then she might Hane on this side. So black might connect, and then white will connect, and then black will extend. So this is a standard Joseki here that might happen. And then maybe what she wants to do is after kind of confirming that she's got stones on the bottom side of the board, then maybe she's going to want to continue this Joseki on the other corner.
Right. Okay.
Right. So maybe in this corner now she's going to choose this Joseki.
Yep.
And then build this wall here.
Yep.
Along this edge of the board.
Yeah.
And that saves her from making an extension from these stones.
Right.
So now this area is like perfectly sized.
Yep.
So I think that's
very efficient.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think that's her plan. I don't know, but
very nice.
Feels like that's what she wants to do.
Yeah.
So of course, Shin Jinseo doesn't want to comply, right? So he's gonna extend on the bottom side. So he's not gonna let her do that.
Yeah.
Right. So we get this. So now that the bottom side is not interesting anymore, I think she's going to change the tactic on the bottom left corner. She's going to want the left side now. So there's this. Okay, so she played this in the game. So there's a Joseki on this corner that goes something like this. Right, so I guess this is what she's going to hope for now. Yeah. So now, instead of getting the bottom side, she's going to have a wall that faces this direction.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So I think that's her plan.
Yeah.
But of course, again, Shin Jinseo is not going to comply. He's going to do this. So he's going to want to destroy this left side, basically.
Yeah. He's a very annoying guy.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like he's reading her mind.
I mean, that's what you have to be at the top level, right?
Yeah.
Right.
But I guess you can try this in your games, right? And you can kind of try to figure out what your opponent's thinking, and then just not comply with their plan.
Yeah.
All right, so instead they get into this Joseki. So this bottom left corner, it's not something you see that often, but it is kind of a Joseki, and it's kind of finished right now. So black. So I guess kind of these points are like Miyai almost.
Right.
So black's going to be alive, even if black doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right, so now black's got time to approach the top left corner now.
Crazy.
Okay, so remember that white played these two stones earlier?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So this area is not finished. So Choi goes back and fixes that by using this extension.
Yep.
So is this Sente, this move here?
No, it's not. So I think the reason he captured this stone is basically once he reinforces the corner, then he's got a lot more options to work with in regards to these two stones. So remember before, if white were to play something like this, then black would have to capture here. But now that black has already captured here, black can do something else now.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, so I guess when I was watching this game, I don't know if I agree with this kind of. So what she's trying to do now is she's trying to attack this stone by playing a pincer. So I mean, her other options are just to extend on this side, something like this, right, or something like this. When she chooses to attack on this side, it kind of emphasizes the left side, but I don't think the left side is all that interesting. I don't know if I agree with her choice of direction here, but anyway, that's what she wants.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, it's just a feeling. Okay, so now that black captured that stone earlier, he's going to activate these two stones now. So when black plays here, I think white is almost kind of compelled to block here. Otherwise, if you do anything else, then black can just connect everything up.
Yep.
And take all the territory. So that's what she does. So I guess this is okay. So now this is probably the first interesting point of the game, and I think both of them kind of missed the key point in this position.
Right.
What's the key point?
I don't know. What do you think?
Is it D8? Is it just turning?
Yeah. Nice.
Very nice.
Nice. Wow, you could be a professional gazer. So I think I don't know. So I guess so. So the reason it's important is because so when you turn here, it disconnects these white stones.
Yep.
And then it keeps this white group kind of weak. So this white group doesn't really have a good eye shape at the moment.
Right.
Okay.
So what happens is if white sort of tries to reinforce the top left corner, then black can just keep jumping out, and this white group is gonna start looking like it's gonna be in trouble, because I mean, you can make one eye here, but then, you know, black can peep here and do like a bunch of other things and just keep the pressure on and just keep attacking it. There's like various peeps. So it looks really like uncomfortable when black jumps out.
Okay.
On the other hand, if white tries to reinforce this group at the bottom by, you know, playing something like this, and now this white stone here becomes, it looks like it's in a really awkward place, right? Like right next to black's thickness.
Yeah. Looks a lot less powerful.
So when it's like this, it looks like black is attacking white, and it's not like white attacking black, right?
Right.
So it's got a lot more stones in the area. So that's why this move is quite important. On the other hand, if white manages to play it at some point, then white can just like connect up everything. Right?
Yeah, that group on the left
is, and it's like a massive influence towards the center. So anyway, he for whatever reason, maybe he thinks connecting under is good enough. I think he's still like I think his position is all right at this point, if I remember correctly. So I think because he reckons that it's enough and it's kind of like a safer way to play, maybe that's why he sort of chose to connect under. Okay, so Choi reinforces the corner. Black reinforces the top right corner. White expands on the right side. Okay. So up to here, a lot of the opening points are settled. So now, I think Shin Jinseo is gonna. So this next move. So the idea is basically to kind of start looking at attacking this white group, and also try to claim the territory on the bottom side by trying to capture this stone. Right, because otherwise, if white gets to play here, then white becomes thick, and then the whole bottom side's gone. So he's gonna choose this moment to sort of make inroads to the bottom side. So again here, I think this. So it always comes back to this point, right?
Yep.
So white's got this kind of weak grip now. White can't really deal with this stone properly. So I think the best course of action for white actually is just to keep pushing this way.
All right.
Is that what white did?
Nah. So I think maybe she didn't think it was enough. I think it would have been fine because black is quite low on the left side. So I think she can afford to push. Because black is not really making that much territory there by just going along the side.
Yeah, seems very small.
But I think maybe she feels like maybe it's not good enough or something. So she decides to, maybe she feels like these three stones are kind of weak and maybe she can attack them or something like that. So I think she decides to kind of try to separate them, like try to sever the connection. Or maybe she's hoping that if black just answers like this, then maybe she can like push black like lower or something. I'm not sure. But anyway, that's what she chose. It turns out that it's going to start a fight and it's not going to be good for her. But of course, she doesn't know that. But anyway, that's her judgment at the time.
Okay, yeah.
So of course, right, it comes back to this move again. So black is going to play here now. Obviously, he's going to try to escape. So this sequence is kind of forced. It's kind of, I mean, that's what they intend to do. So it looks like this group is in danger, but black can sort of connect. Yeah. So this move has to be answered here, and then black can connect back. So now, if white doesn't do anything right now, if white just plays passively, white's going to be able to capture this stone like this.
Yeah.
Right. So white has to deal with that, and there's like a number of ways to deal with it. But in the game, she just chose to Atari here, make this grip heavier, and play this weird-looking empty triangle.
Yeah.
But this threatens to cut black off on the second line, so black has to answer. And then she comes back to fix this cutting point at E7. So I think this now, okay, so now this becomes, I think, the second interesting point of this game. And I was actually really surprised when I saw this happen. So so you would think that, so on the next move, black is going to capture these two black stones, right? So you would think that black is going to escape them somehow, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I don't know, like maybe here or here, like just pretty much anywhere, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, so Shin Jinseo, he decides differently. He's like, oh, okay, I don't really care about those two stones for whatever reason.
Yeah.
So he just plays here. And he lets her capture these two stones.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe he feels like it's good enough. But by doing so, I think he actually handed quite a few points back to Choi. So I think at this point he's leading by a little bit.
Yeah.
But after he gave her back these two black stones, now the game's kind of even again.
Yep.
Right.
So that's interesting. So I guess what he's thinking about is maybe he's thinking, well, if I escape, then maybe white can do something like this.
Right.
And then now this black stone is kind of captured. So it can't really go anywhere because of all this.
So he was looking to he had to make a trade somehow, right?
Yeah, he was worried about this basically, I think. Because of all these white stones that she has here now, this black stone's just gonna I mean, it can kind of escape, but it's basically not worth it right now.
Yeah. So
basically that's what he's thinking. But I think I think that would have been better for black, but I guess it's one of those things, right? You don't know until you kind of look at it at the end.
Yeah.
Okay, so now this whole area is settled, this whole left side. So there's only like one big opening point kind of left for like on the board. So the bottom side is kind of empty, but both black grips on either side are strong. Which means it's not really that interesting. So if black plays there right now, it's kind of over-concentrated. The left side and the right side are both occupied. So the last remaining big kind of opening spot is actually here.
Right.
And black plays it, as you would expect. So Choi, she tries to. So now that she's got all this extra influence here, she's going to try to turn that into like a profit in the center. So she's going to expand her framework on the right side and into the center, and hopefully this thing here will help.
Very nice.
So at this point, so now it's really a question of style, right? So there's quite a few like options black can have. So black can sort of. So in the game, Shin Jinseo invaded here. So he's basically saying, oh, I'm just going to destroy all your territory by attacking you. the other ways to play are kind of like, well, maybe you can take your territory and I can take my territory on the bottom side.
Yeah,
Um,
right.
like other ways to play are just to like, oh, I just need to reduce you enough to win the game, so I might play something like this,
Yeah.
like like in a fairly safe spot, or like aggressively reduce you like this, right? So there's like various things that you can do here, but I think anyway. So this is his style, right? So his style is okay. I'm gonna attack you, and then try to nullify all your territory in the process.
Yep, that's definitely his style.
Yeah. So okay. So this is like okay. So jumping out here is pretty much forced. If you go into the corner, then I mean you could, but it just helps black reinforce the outside, and then all of white's influence will be sort of neutralized. So she doesn't want that. She's got all this power in the center. So she definitely wants to fight. And this is the way to do it, right? So challenge accepted, basically.
Very nice.
Okay, so they're all gonna jump out. So she's gonna use forcing moves towards the top side to help her group. And black's gonna try to sort of, I don't know how to put it, make himself stronger by leaning towards the stones in this area. So what Choi does is she adds a stone here. So she's kind of saying, well, all right, don't get too comfortable, right? So if she just does something normal, then black has so many options here to settle this group, like maybe here, or like just like there's quite a bit of space on in this area to sort of maneuver these two black stones. So she's going to add a stone here to sort of put the pressure on, basically. So that forces black to keep jumping out, and this kind of attacks white again. So white's got a few options to sort of either escape or settle this group. So maybe, like, for example, she could do something like this to sort of get out. Like it looks pretty cramped, right?
Yep.
Right.
I don't know. It's kind of it would be difficult to deal with for someone like me. I don't know. I'd feel pretty uncomfortable. I don't know about you guys. But there's a few moves she can use to sort of settle this group. So she plays one of them in the game, which is this one. This is a really common sort of approach to deal with this. So when she plays here, if black retreats like this, then she's gonna get a lot of forcing moves like this. So it's not gonna be helpful for black. So, but if black plays blocking here directly, like in the game, then she can peep here at the 3-3 point. And when she does that, black can't cut it off anymore because now there's two cuts that black can't protect. So this group is going to get cut off and it's going to get captured. So basically when she plays this, black has to play this. And that means she's got a connection to the corner, which will be useful if she needs to make it alive later on in the game. So she plays one more move to reinforce this group, right? So she's got like a lifeline in the corner now, and she's kind of got a bit more stone. So now she's going to go on the counter attack. She's going to try to cut these. She's going to try to cut this knight's connection using this move. Right, so these groups are now cut off. from each other. So the fighting goes on. So now there's these two black groups,
Right.
and there's these two white groups. So it's getting more complicated.
Yes.
So this is a cutting stone. So this is important. So in the game she plays like I guess you can call it a tesuji, but it's kind of like a standard move to sort of save that stone so it doesn't get captured.
Very nice.
Right. So in the game you can kind of see why. So when black pushes this stone, like Atari's on this side, white can escape. And then black has to come out, and then white can block here. And so so we get into this position, and I think this is like I guess this would be like the next most interesting point in this game. And I was very pleasantly surprised to see this happen during the game, given this previous thing that happened earlier in this game. So right now you've got these three black stones are in danger, and so are these. So I guess the question is like, what should black do?
Yeah. I guess
Kind of difficult, right?
you gotta run out the cutting stones.
Yeah. So I guess your natural instinct's kind of like, well, these three stones are actually going to get captured immediately. So if you do anything here, then these three stones are just going to get captured.
Yeah.
And actually, that's what he did in the game. So he just escaped this group and he just left these three stones hanging.
That's crazy.
So that's pretty much exactly what it did earlier in the game, and it turns out that by letting white capture these three black stones, it's like a big loss in points for black.
Yeah.
Ooh. Okay.
But what did Choi Jeong do?
So I don't know.
So Choi Jeong just captured the three black stones, right?
Well, she didn't. So in the game, she didn't. So I don't know why she didn't. Like, to me, if I was playing, I would probably just play this immediately without thinking too much. I was like,
What a legend!
Like 3 stones, why not? But I guess she's thinking at a more higher level than me. So
yeah.
I don't know.
Do you think she's thinking, why did Shin Jinseo play that move?
Maybe she's kind of thinking like subconsciously, Shin Jinseo left 3 stones for me. It must be like some kind of trap or something.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Maybe she's thinking, this can't be right. This must be something weird going on here. But actually it's quite alright for her to capture these 3 stones, because so for one, it makes this entire white group here like super strong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't be attacked anymore, like no matter what. So the only thing black can do is this threat is basically to cut off these 2 white stones. But if black tries to do something like this, like just try to cut them off completely, then I think white can cut like this and then fight with black.
Right.
There's various things, because white actually has a forcing move here to help these 3 stones. So it looks like they're in danger, but it's and also right now there's a threat to push through here. So I think this is playable. If black goes a little bit soft and then plays like this, white can just connect under. This is perfectly fine. I think something like this might be. I think the AI thinks this is probably like the best move I can come up with. But even with this, I think White can still just try to connect under. So this is kind of working for White. So I think White can actually just capture these 3 stones.
Okay.
So I think,
yeah, I'm convinced.
yeah. So I think what Black needed to do was, okay. Before we go into that, so if Black were to escape now, that's fine. But then what will happen is, I think these stones would get heavily attacked and they might die. So maybe if Black skips this move, maybe Black can try if Black tries to do this now, maybe White won't answer here anymore. Maybe White can just go straight for the kill like this.
What if Black plays at Q8 first without?
Yeah. So I think what Black needs. So I think you're right. I think what Black needed to do is just play this first, and see what White would do. So if White captures this now, then Black has a much stronger move to disconnect these 2 White stones compared to before. But if White answers here, then now this 1-2 exchange helps this Black group. So now Black can escape.
Ooh.
Right. So because of this 1-2 exchange, this group is relatively safer.
Interesting.
I think it's. Do I have a variation here? Yeah, so maybe Black can just escape now. I don't think White can seal this in like with 100%, like no problems. I think there's going to be some bad RG if White tries to.
Complicated, yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, that's what he needed to do, but he just played this move instead. Yeah, I forgot to mention. So at this point in the game, I think Choi is a little bit behind in terms of where she's at in terms of like points and everything. So she really needed to capture these 3 Black stones to get back into the game. In the game, she just answered really passively here, and that allowed Black to escape. So basically, if we play just like a few more moves. Okay, so once these 2 Black groups are relatively safe, this corner group needs to make itself alive now because it's completely cut off. So because she didn't capture these 3 Black stones, now she owes a move in the corner, right? So it's kind of like... So capturing those 3 Black stones was actually a really efficient way to deal with this problem. So instead, now she has to live in the corner. And then Black gets to sort of reinforce his groups. Right, so it's basically counterproductive. So if you kind of look at this position now, so at the start, this whole side was White's, right? But now it's kind of all broken up. There's no big territories anywhere. Black has become really strong in the center area. So this Black group is like the only weak group remaining on the board. And this white group is actually not that strong. Like it's got a little bit of territory, but there's a lot of peeps that Black can do in this area. Like something like this, for example, that could be quite annoying. So I think at this point, the only way she's going to win is if she can just attack this black group and get something out of it. And I don't think in the game she managed to do that like really effectively. So everything starts here. So this move that she played is actually attacking this black group. And the reason is she's trying to make this white group stronger. And when this white group gets stronger, then she can attack this black group again.
Right.
Also, when she plays here, it also gets rid of this annoying peep problem. So what does black do in this game? So instead of just running out this black group, Shin Jinseo captures this stone. So basically, by reinforcing his other black group, he's helping this black group. Right. So this is going to be this. So this entire sequence is going to be like a. It's going to be one of those things where I'm going to do something else that looks completely unrelated, but it's actually all to do with this black group.
Interesting.
It's like a preparation, right? So if you're not careful, right? So if you don't pay attention to what she's doing here.
Hold on.
Yeah, I lost this.
All right, we've restarted.
All right, so where were we up to? Okay, so we're up to here. So basically, White's plan is to attack this black group in the center.
Yep.
All right. So the first move in this sequence is this. So she's going to reinforce her bottom white group so that she can mount basically a much stronger attack.
Yep.
Black's going to respond by capturing this stone. Right.
Nice.
So Shin Jinseo is going to make this black group stronger so that this group has, more friends to rely on, so to speak, in the ensuing fight. Right. So she's going to make. So in response to that, she's going to make this group of stones stronger. Right. So this is all in preparation to attack this black dragon here.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, the thing is, the white middle stones do look a little bit tight on
yeah,
and a
of
bit
course.
weak. Yeah.
And then in response to that, he plays this move to make sure that his bottom group doesn't get into trouble.
Take more cash.
Yeah. So, they're kind of both dancing around. It's like a game of chicken, I'm not ready to attack you yet, but I will soon, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right. So of course, she's gonna try to disconnect Black from all Black's friends. Right. So right now, this Black group can't get to here. Okay. So now it's in trouble. Right.
Yeah.
So there's this Tetsuji to get a base on the right side.
Yep.
So I think White can't block because Black will just cut through.
Yep.
So White has to connect passively, and that gives Black like a base on the right side.
Yep. And
with the option
Black is only one more move from completely alive. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. So Black also has the option to run out a little bit still.
Yep.
So before she kills it, she's going to have to seal that root off as well. So she's going to put some pressure on the bottom group to start with.
Yep.
All right, so the attack's coming. So she's going to now seal off the entire path. Yep. So Black has nowhere to go.
Nice.
So Black is going to try to struggle a little bit to sort of create some extra argy in the position. So he tries to sort of run out a little bit.
Yep.
So at this point, White's got to watch her connection, because if you look at this group, it doesn't look like there's 100% guarantee that there's two eyes in this space.
Yep.
So White better make sure that she's not disconnected either.
Nice.
So she has to detect. Okay, so black can come out a little bit more. Right, does another peep here, and then plays this move. Oh, and then all of a sudden he just plays away.
He decided he's alive.
Okay, so what's happening here? Is he alive or is he dead or what's going on? So if you're like bad at life and death like me, you're just wondering right now like what's happening here.
Yeah,
I don't know. What do you guys think?
No, I would attack. I would attack and see what happens.
I would take away the eyes at the bottom first. You know, where's white.
So I think it's pretty. I think it might be clear to Shin Jinseo what's happening, but to me, it's kind of I don't know, just not good enough. So I can't see it that clearly.
Yeah.
I guess Choi Jeong knows it too because she didn't attack anymore. She just played away.
Ooh.
Ooh.
So I think they both agree that it's alive.
Nice.
So this is like the best way white can try to kill it. So black can make another. So black right now has an eye at this S10 area.
Yeah.
Black's gonna get another eye if he manages to play Kuno.
Yep.
So to stop that, white has to play here. And now there's like a strategy to make another eye. So it's, I guess for them it's easy. For me, it's not. Not so much. So the strategy is actually this move.
Right.
It looks very weird, but that's the move. So basically the threat is this: if white plays away, black can Atari, and then capture this group of stones.
Very nice.
Right. So white can't do that. White has to save them, and then black can make another eye here.
Right. But might lose the tail.
So it looks like it might be a false eye because, well, so these 2 points are like, you can think of them as miai. So if white plays one, black can take the other.
Yeah.
But maybe white can try to kill it by occupying this point.
Right.
Yeah.
But black can do something here, like this. Right, so this white group has a shortage of liberties right now.
Yeah.
So it has to try to come back.
Feel that one.
And then basically black can play this move and it will be forcing.
Ah.
Oh.
Very nice.
I see.
So black can, I think, play here. So this move threatens to make 2 eyes by next playing at S11.
Yep.
So if white tries to stop that, this is a threat to capture this large white group. So white has to answer.
Making his eye in the middle. Yeah. Very nice.
Okay, so the last trick is this. So before that, I think black should play here first to make sure that white connects.
Right. Yeah.
Right, and then black can make this eye.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And basically, the stone at 13 is going to be captured. So that's the second eye. Right, so that's 2 eyes. So basically, in this position, I think black was slightly ahead in terms of points. So once this black group's alive, they're just basically going to an endgame where black is leading. So, and Shin Jinseo is not the type of player who messes up endgames like this. So
Yeah.
I think that's a pretty comfortable win for him, like going to the end.
Yep. Unless it's versus Kerja in Samsung Cup game 2, but that's that aside.
So black was ahead by what, a couple of points, enough points. That is.
I think probably enough. I think I can't remember the exact. It might be around 5, maybe. I don't know.
Right. Yeah, I think it was around 5 points. Yeah.
Right. It's quite big, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. But I think, I don't know. This game was kind of interesting because of this various other like things you don't normally see in a game.
Yeah, I have to admit, I didn't see that sequence for Black living on the right, so I really wasn't sure why they kept playing
Yeah,
away
yeah,
at that point of the game. So thanks for
yeah.
showing us
Any
that.
other questions you want to go on this game, or should we go on to the next one?
Yeah, I don't have any questions. I mean that life and death in riddle is very intricate, very interesting. Yeah,
Yeah, and it's obvious that they both read it out.
yeah.
But yeah, that meant that Shin Jinseo won game one.
One game one. So basically, what that means is for Choi Jeong to win the Samsung Cup, she needs to take game 2 and 3.
Yes, and
And
game two was played. So game one was played on Monday,
yeah,
Monday the 7th, and game two was scheduled for the very next day,
yeah,
the Tuesday. And if Choi Jong wins this one, then game three will be the next day, the Wednesday.
yeah,
But if Shin Jin So wins, they won't play a game three.
yeah. Now, but what's happened was, unfortunately for Choi, she lost game 2 as well. So, what I guess what that means is that Shin Jinseo has finally won the Samsung Cup at the third consecutive attempt. He's made the final 3 years in a row. That in itself is quite remarkable, and the fact that he lost 2 of them is also quite remarkable. But at the third attempt, he managed to beat Choi Jeong 2-0. And the second game was quite interesting as well.
Yeah, I thought the second game was very interesting. In this game, yeah, Zin, do you wanna show us what happened here?
Yeah. So of course in the second game they switch colors. So Choi Jeong
So
is
I think,
black now and Shin Jinseo is white. Yeah.
so I think this game starts off a lot more normally, I should say.
Yeah.
Okay, so they each take a corner. Choi Jeong decides to play a corner enclosure on the top right. White approaches on the bottom right. She decides to use this pincer again. I think she likes this pincer. Maybe she studied this or something.
Yeah.
Oh, she's prepared specifically for this or something. I don't know.
I think that there's a video on Awesome Baduk and they call this the Monster Jongsok or something. If white decides to do that one and then black push and cut and that becomes a massive joseki. It's crazy. Anyway, yep.
So I think like the other game, Shin Jinseo, he didn't respond to this pincer, so he just left it.
Yep.
For the moment, he just left it. So I think she's now compelled to attack it severely by this move. So instead, so this might be like one variation, like just doing a 2-stone pillar and then jumping out, something like this. But because of this pincer, obviously this is not like an attractive option. So instead, he opts to play a more light move, this one. And so the way to keep attacking this is to actually play this empty triangle.
Nice.
Because if black tries to do this, then black is just going to get cut, and then there's too many cuts to deal with. This stone at 1 might be laddered this way, so it's just not working very well. And if she just continues like this, it's really passive. So it doesn't look that good for black. So the way to keep attacking this is just to go here. With this ugly, empty triangle, basically. With this follow-up cut that cuts white into these 2 groups and forces white to fight in black's area, basically. Right, so that's what happened in the game. You can say this is kind of like a joseki. So I think black should extend. Otherwise, if black just captures this stone, then white can Atari on the second line, and it's going to be really painful for black. right? So something like this might happen. And then you can sort of see black is kind of over-concentrated in this area. It looks really squished and cramped, whereas white's more like free-flowing. And white's got the second line endgame later to look forward to.
Nice.
Right, so this is correct. So in the game, she decides to descend down here. I don't know. I don't think this is like the best option, but I guess from her perspective, she really wants that right side. So I think locally, the best move might be to like just extend here, and then sort of capture these two white stones. So when you extend here, this white group's in danger, so it needs to sort of escape by jumping out this way, and then you can capture these two white stones. But then it destroys the entire right side, so maybe she didn't like that very much. So she decided to do this. So I guess you could say at this point, I think she made like the first mistake of this game. So this white descent here is forcing on the corner. So if white doesn't respond, this corner might end up dying. So
Right.
So the most aggressive way to respond is to make this Atari, and then if white connects, then protect the corner. But because in the game she just went for this directly, white is a lot more comfortable with this group. Because now white can just make this eye anytime, right? So there's like extra eye space here that white can look forward to. So I don't know. I feel like in some of her games she was a bit passive in a lot of spots.
Yeah, I was a little bit surprised. If I remember correctly, around after making somewhat this move, I think Choi Jeong supposedly is down at 30%, something like that.
Yeah, I think with this shape, you almost always have to make this Atari.
Yeah.
Just because if you play here and then you decide to Atari later, then this move becomes wasted.
Right.
Right.
But of course, like, you know, whenever you Atari this way, there's always a chance that you're going to create a co situation that makes the game really complicated, right? So maybe she didn't want that either. Maybe she just wanted to keep things simple, wait for her chance, and then, you know, not get into a disaster early in the game, maybe.
Yeah. She perhaps was just waiting for an overplay. It seems like that tactic worked against Yang Dingxing and Byun Sangil, so maybe it was going to work here.
Yeah, slow and steady wins the race, maybe. Okay, so white is pretty much forced to escape now because black has sealed off the right side, so white can't go to the right side anymore, so it has to go out this way. Okay, so when black jumps out here, white needs to save the bottom group as well. So this does the job. Black continues putting pressure on this white bottom group. Okay, so here, a normal move might be like just to extend, something like this, or here, just to make this white group safe. But Shin Jinseo, he chooses like the most, like a very aggressive way to deal with this situation. So he doesn't want to extend here. He wants to counterattack this black group by playing from the top. And it turns out this is actually quite a good move.
Nice.
Yeah, I would be a bit scared to play that, but you know, if it works, it works, right? So what is it looking at? So it's basically looking at this weakness here. between these two black stones. So you might be wondering, like, oh, what will happen? Like, what might happen if black tries to just go for the kill?
Right. Yes.
So like a really simple way to deal with that is to just do this. So this might be one way to deal with it. Right, so if black then tries to capture this, white can come through here, right? So that's one way you might use the weakness.
Nice.
It's a bit of a vulgar way to use it. The other thing you could do is you could just do this directly. So if black tries to Atari from here, so black can then capture these three, but you can capture this one. So that's good enough for white. But right now it's not working perfectly because black can do this. And then if you try to cut this way, black can actually Atari here. So then if that's not working, like what do you do? So the plan then is maybe you can do something to help that. So if you had a white stone here, for example, then you would protect these cuts, right? So then black wouldn't have that option in the previous diagram. So something white can do maybe is keep here and then get 4 as a sente move, and then it can come back to here. So now black can't escape anymore.
Okay. Right. Very sneaky.
Yeah. So of course maybe black can I guess it will be a trade if black kills the bottom and then white takes these 2 stones. I'm not sure, but there's various options for white. So right now, it's very difficult for black to sort of kill this white group. So I guess the best thing that black can do maybe is maybe try to peep here. Right, and then now you fix the weakness, then you can kill it. But I guess if you peep here now, maybe white has time to escape. And then it'll be like this.
And that might be good enough for white.
So it's actually there's quite a few things to consider with this move. So it's not as obvious as it might seem in the game. There's quite a lot of things that you need to consider before playing a move like this. It gets quite complicated. But I think Choi, she just chose the most simple way to deal with this. So this fixes this problem with the cut. So to me, that's like a really obvious move that I might choose, maybe. I don't know. Like it's kind of boring, but it works. So it's not fancy. It's just like really solid.
Right.
Okay, so if white tries to just live here like this, I think it's gonna be too good for black because black can just get a perfect connection outside, and the life and death of this group is it's not 100% alive, I believe. So I think maybe white has to add another move now. So this is going to be really good for black. So I think white decides just to cut right now, and sort of so white at this point when he makes this cut, he doesn't necessarily care about the life and death of this group. He just wants to get something out of this position.
Okay. So then, what? I don't understand the purpose of N3. Is that just to get more liberties?
Yeah, so usually if you're planning to sacrifice something, you want to give it a few more liberties so you can squeeze your opponent more when you
Yeah.
sacrifice it. If you were to just do this, then black can just come down and maybe just just kill it really cleanly.
Okay. Yeah.
And then now, there's not going to be any forcing moves against black in the local area. So then it makes your stones much weaker. So what he would like to do is he would like to sort of get as many liberties as he can on this white grip so he can play lots of forcing moves on the outside.
I see. Nice.
So this is like a nice strategy to like kill this white grip and sort of reduce the liberties. I don't know if I would have found this in the game. I think this move also works. It's more straightforward. But this is like a more fancy move. And it actually worked out pretty well in the game. Because what white was supposed to do in response to this was white was supposed to connect. But in the game he didn't, for whatever reason, Shin Jinseo he didn't do that. And because he didn't do that, he couldn't get as much out of the position as he could have. So remember how I said you want as many liberties as you can to get the most out of the most forcing moves on the outside? Because he didn't connect here, then I think he missed out on a couple of forcing moves that he could have had. So instead he went for this. And just allowed black to just cleanly kill some stones. So in exchange he got a couple of forcing moves here. But what you notice is that there's kind of like a hole here in the position.
Yep.
And you'll see later on, white doesn't have a forcing move in this area. So what he should have done was, should have connected here. Right, so when you connect here, black has to escape, basically, because black doesn't have as many liberties as white right now. Right, so then you can play 3. So in response to 3, black can't play from this group. Black has to capture here, because if black plays from the outside, right, then that means this black cross here is going to get captured.
Oh, that would be a disaster.
Yeah, so that would be bad. So in response to 3, black actually has to capture here. And then what white can do is white can net. So by playing 5, this black group can't escape into the center anymore. It's kind of blocked off, right? It's got a shortage of liberties, so because it's doing capturing race of this group, so you can't really afford to kind of lose liberties by trying to push out anymore.
Yeah.
So in actual fact, 5 is also center. So black actually has to respond. If black doesn't respond, if black just carelessly like plays away, I think white can play 7, I think.
And now black gets captured instead of white.
Yeah, and then I think black can make 1 eye here by capturing this black stone, and then it becomes kind of like a 1 eye versus no eye situation.
Yep.
So then, yeah, this black group is going to be in trouble.
Yep. Right.
So
5 is Sente then.
Yeah. So black actually has to respond to 5, and when black responds to 5, then white has a chance to invade here and attack these 2 stones pretty severely. Right. So I think the most important difference between this position and the one in the game is I think White has a forcing move like here or here.
Yeah, White has a few forcing moves, it seems.
Yeah. So I can choose quite a few forcing moves, and that makes White's position like much thicker than in the actual game.
Yeah, I wonder why. Yeah, I wonder what Shin Jinseo missed in his reading.
Maybe he thought both were pretty similar, so maybe he thought like it didn't matter that much.
Right. Okay.
But I don't know. It's hard to predict. Like if the fight doesn't break out at all, then maybe it does make no difference. But if there's like a fight, then yeah, it could make a lot of difference.
Yeah.
Having those extra forcing moves. Right. So just like. So right now, he's not going to spend an extra move to fix this hole, right? The most important thing is to just go in here. Because otherwise, if you just try to fix here, then Black is just really comfortable on this side. And this whole territory is looking like a Black territory. Whereas if you attack, it's going to destroy this whole Black area.
Yeah.
But the problem is, once the fight starts out, he's going to realize pretty quickly that he's got like a gaping hole here, and this grip is going to be a bit weak, right? So if he keeps, maybe it would have been better if he just kept coming out, and then when Black comes out, then he can fix this. But eventually, he's going to have to spend the move to like plug this hole.
Yeah.
So I think because of this, I guess you could say, you can call it like a mistake. Because of this mistake, it kind of neutralizes Choi's mistake here earlier. So now the game's like back to even, and Black is even like leading a little bit, I think, by like a point or something at this stage.
Okay.
And I remember watching like the live stream. So I think usually on stream, I think Choi Jeong she eats like bananas and like oranges and like a bunch of like things basically during her game.
Yeah.
I don't know, and a lot of times like I see her just like closing her eyes. I don't know, she must be like resting her eyes or something, or staring at the screen too much or something. But I remember during this section of the game where she was actually winning, she was actually like really perked up. Like she was really like into it, like eyes wide open. I think she knew at this point that it was looking good for her basically.
Right. Yes. For those interested, yeah, the stream was on Baduk TV on YouTube, and yeah, she does close her eyes a lot during the games. I'm not sure if that's just a ritual for her, or if she genuinely doesn't sleep that much. But
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe some of the viewers can tell us
What's happening? Yeah.
Yeah.
But obviously, I mean, it wasn't just in this game. She was doing it in the games that she won as well. So, yeah, she's consistent.
Yeah. So when Shin Jinseo decided to just spend an extra move to plug this hole, it's almost like a pass in terms of like the fighting. So that gives like Black a chance to just cover this 3 white stones completely. Right. So right now, like if you look at this board position, like I can tell like Black is doing pretty well.
Yep. Yeah, I would agree with that. And those white stones on the right look
Yeah, they're not looking healthy. I mean,
no.
and at the same time, I think Shin Jinseo he was kind of like pulling some concerned faces, and he's kind of like shaking his head a little bit, like he was a bit worried about this.
Yeah, I'm no body language expert, but I noticed that if he realizes that he's gone wrong somewhere, he'll slap himself in the face like really lightly.
Yeah, I don't know. Like you can tell, I think you can tell from the stream. Like he was genuinely worried. Like I think he already knew like something's like not right.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is like a peep against this connection. So white has to fix that. So white's just kind of like, try to struggle around this area. So this is like the turning point of this kind of this game, I suppose. So this crosscut. So white is like trying to save this white group by sort of trying to sabaki in this area. Just create like just try to try to make something happen instead of just running away. Like white could just run away, but then it's not really doing anything. Like black is really comfortable.
Yeah.
So anyway, he felt like he needed to sort of play something special to sort of get out of the situation, maybe because he feels like he's behind. And this kind of worked because I think Choi didn't know how to respond to this correctly.
Right.
So I think the correct move is a tie from the bottom. So like a normal variation might be like so if something like this happens, I mean, it's not going to happen, but if something like this happens, then the idea is that, just going back a little bit. So when you Atari at 1, the idea is to make this white group a little bit heavier so that white can't sacrifice it as easily.
Yep.
So the idea, I mean, there could be various other variations that result in similar things, but the idea is to sort of make this group heavier and then separate it from this group and then continue fighting, basically. But in the game, she just chose like a really simple variation and let white off the hook.
I just remember this part being like Shin Jinseo magic, like how he's got this running weak group and somehow he's got some thickness building on the outside, some crazy.
Yeah, it's just like, I guess if you play enough complicated moves, you'll bamboozle your opponent at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think she didn't choose the best variation and kind of let white off the hook. So basically after all this, not only has white kind of got out into the center and into the side, white's also almost pretty much sealed off the top side. So you can see like black is just limited to this corner, and white is just completely out. Whereas before, white was looking like the one that was going to be sealed in, right? So this result is actually not looking very good for black, like at all.
Yeah.
And then she makes like another mistake. So what she should do is I think she should like continue playing in the center, because now that white is out, this black group is becoming weaker. And if she plays in the center, then it's going to limit white's development. Maybe later on she can just peep here as well and still put a little bit of pressure on this white group. So I think in the game she makes like another mistake in kind of direction or area of play, you could say, and kind of lets white just completely dominate the center area by playing here. So I think right now she's quite a bit behind. So now black really needs to run. So now you can sort of see, instead of white getting attacked, it's now black that's like getting attacked. So it's like the game flow is like completely changed. All right, so right now white's just going to take some points. Black is like struggling in the center, so it decides to make this peep. I think white could just connect, and there's not that many problems. But I think Shin Jinseo, he wanted to get fancy and sort of like counter attach. So anyway, it turns out to something like this. I'm probably not gonna go much into it because it's a little bit complicated, but so we're just gonna fast forward to this point.
Alright. So what happens here?
Yeah, so remember, originally the idea for black was to peep to make white connect here. But instead, what turned out was this huge complicated sequence, right? So now so the idea originally was to make white connect here, but I guess now it's kind of like you could go either way, right? So these 4 stones, that I don't know, it's not clear at the moment if they're important or not, because they've kind of already served their purpose, and white's kind of going out in this direction now.
I see, saying they might not be worth saving.
Yeah, they might not be worth saving. So, and that's what he decided in the game. So that's why he played this and just let white cut them off. So his judgment was that these 4 stones have used their purpose. So now I'm just gonna try to develop my white group like through this area and attack this black group like that.
Okay. And do you think that was a good idea?
I think it turned out to not be like the best, but I can understand why he chose to play it that way.
Okay.
So I think he should have. I think the correct move was to play here. So right now, by playing 1, black can't actually cut this off because it's like a ladder.
Yeah, ladder.
And if black tries to disconnect this group, then white can come out this way, like this.
Oh, okay.
So that's like another way to play. Then the fight will be between this group, and this group. So his judgment was basically to sacrifice these 4 stones and sort of go out this way. I think the evaluation said that was like a bad idea, basically, because you're giving up 4 stones for no good reason. But it's hard to tell in the heat of the moment. I think his judgment is that, you know, he's calculated that if this is good enough and it keeps the game simple, then maybe that's the way he's going to go.
Okay.
Yeah. So in the game, yeah, this kind of thing. So black can't connect because this is center and then this is like a ladder.
Yeah.
So first, black needs to play like a move to fix the shape, like maybe this move or this move. So in the game, she played here, but it turns out it's better to play here because it's more solid, gives white less options later on in the game, and we'll see that happen. So when black plays here, white can capture this stone, and so like I said before, white's just going to go out this way. So at this point, this black group's looking much weaker than before because this white group's like right next door to it, right? There's like really no breathing room. So right now, what black should do is black should just connect on the bottom.
Okay.
And I don't know why she didn't do that because to me it looks pretty obvious. But I think she was worried that if she did that, then White might start dominating the center. So she wanted to get a few more stones in the center first.
Yeah, that's probably what happened.
Right. So because of that, Shin Jinseo, he's like, well, okay, if you want to just come and destroy my territory or my potential, then I am going to cut you off. Because, otherwise, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
Right. So instead of being safe, Black just has to keep running now. So, okay. So this is the bad archie that I was talking about earlier. So instead of playing G6, if Black had played H5, there would be like no problems in this area. But because of what it is right now, White actually has this really annoying move to sort of reactivate these 4 stones.
Ooh.
So if Black just tries to do this, then this is captured.
Oh dear.
Yeah. So Black has to fix this, and now there's like this hole here in this area. This really annoying hole in the shape.
Nice.
Right, and he's gonna take advantage of it. He's gonna try to rescue the 4 stones. It's not gonna happen, but because Black can capture it if she wants. But the problem is that if you try to capture it, then White's gonna have all these forcing moves on the outside. And when White has all these forcing moves on the outside, this Black group, ooh, this is looking pretty shaky. Because once White has all these stones on the outside, this group is going to be severely attacked.
Yep. White's becoming stronger.
Right, so this move's almost centering, so Black has to kind of respond. Otherwise, Black will just get sealed in and White will take the entire left side. Or White could make a center move from here. Kind of chase this like this. Kind of depends on the situation. So maybe White can start attacking like this. Right, because of all these forcing moves White can play on the outside, White has so many options to attack severely, right? So actually, when White plays here, none of these Black moves, I mean, they're working, but they're not working for the game, basically. So basically, as soon as White plays here, Black can't really afford to capture these 5 White stones anymore. So in the game, Choi decided to do this. So she knew as well, right? So she knew that she's in trouble. Right, so that's why she didn't try to capture it the standard way. Right, she knew that if she did that, it's going to go wrong. So her choice is, so this move, it wasn't right either. Actually, anything in this area is actually just wrong now.
Oh dear.
That's how bad it is. So basically, what Black needs to do right now is Black just needs to save this group.
Right.
And then just let White do whatever to these stones. And then this game is still playable like this, basically.
Okay.
So as long as White doesn't make a big territory out of here, then Black has got these areas here. So as long as White doesn't make a big territory on this side, I think this game is still playable.
Right. Interesting.
So anyway, that's what she needed to do. But in the game, you can't think of that solution, right? You're thinking locally. You think, oh, well, how do I deal with this, right?
Right.
And you also have this attachment, right? I killed these stones before, how do I, how are they just escaping right now? Yeah. So in the end, because of because of this sequence. So you can kind of see now she's got this weak group to worry about and this weak group to worry about, and she's trying to connect them, but it doesn't work because there's like this point that separates the groups. And basically, because of that, that's the reason she lost this game, basically.
Oh well.
Damn.
And I think it's around this point that she decided that the tail is not worth saving either.
I mean, it's just too busy managing these two groups. So if she saves the tail like by playing here,
Yeah.
then White is like going to play here, and then this group is pretty much looking dead already.
Yeah.
Like Black has to connect like this, and then there's like no more. There's hardly any space here to make like eyes because White is just so strong in this area. Like it's going to be a lot of trouble. And this black group at the bottom here is not 100% safe either. So it's going to be really difficult just because of these two weak groups. So, moral of the story, don't run two weak groups.
But Shin Jinseo does it all the time.
Yeah, but
Yeah, well.
as long as they're alive, you can.
What's the moral of the story? Be Shin Jinseo.
Yeah, just be Shin Jinseo. Just win everything.
Yeah.
Find the best move like all the time.
Very nice. Sounds easy.
All right. So I think we can leave this game here.
Yes.
Yeah. So I guess bad luck for Choi.
Well, yes, bad luck, but I think, it was. There were a lot of English speaking fans in our Discord that almost all of them wanted Choi Jeong to win.
Yeah.
But you could also understand the support for Shin Jinseo, considering he's probably had his worst experiences at this Samsung Cup. In particular, 2 years ago in the final, he lost the first game due to a misclick. And then last year was apparently it's the only time when he's won the first game of a final and lost the final, and that's domestic and international. So yeah, it's like the Samsung Cup was sort of his boogeyman, and he managed to overcome his demons finally. I think he said in the interview that he can put those bad experiences to rest now that he's won this title.
Yeah.
Whereas I guess for Choi Jeong, she's probably, she was probably satisfied just to make the final, or at the very least, losing the final is probably not as disappointing to her as it would have been for Shin Jinseo.
And I think it's, even though Choi Jeong didn't win, now there was some. I imagine a section of the fans would be thinking, does it put forward? Is it a strong piece of evidence or supporting material for Choi Jeong being considered the greatest of all time women player?
Yes, and I think we briefly mentioned this discussion before. Obviously, before this Samsung Cup, surely the greatest woman of all time would have been undoubtedly Rui Nawe from China.
Yeah.
And with this performance, this being the first time a woman has made a world major final.
Yeah.
People are now arguing that perhaps now Choi Jeong can claim to be the greatest of all time.
Yeah, I'll just say Sin. Like, what do you have any thoughts on that one?
I don't know. I always hesitate to like compare players from different eras because like the context is entirely different. Like it's really hard to compare. It's really hard to say.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
I would agree with that. Yeah, even players that are maybe just 5 years apart in age, it can be hard because it's you always you're not because you're not really playing against them. I mean, Choi Jeong and Rui Nawe are not from the same generation, so when they probably played each other before, but Rui Nawe would have been past her peak, and maybe Choi Jeong wasn't at her peak yet. Um, and then when they are at their peak, you don't know how strong they are because it's really just how strong they are relative to their peers.
right.
yeah, like you've got access to different resources and you've got different like opponents, so
Yes.
it's just hard to tell.
Right. All right. Great. So with that in mind, I mean, it's no denying that, of course, Choi Jeong has made the final, his first ever woman to do that. That in itself is a great achievement. Now, Sin, you've also prepared some bad moves of the tournament for us, haven't you?
Yeah, let's do bad move highlights of the Samsung Cup.
Right.
It'll be
This is
fun.
the part that I look forward to the most, by the way.
Yeah. All right, so candidate number one is got to be Ichiriki, right?
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything else in this tournament that's comparable to this blunder, right?
Yeah, yeah.
This is his game against Choi Jeong,
This
right?
game is Choi Jeong. And are we going to jump to the part where Ichiriki is
Let's just
absolutely
get
leading?
straight into it. Yeah. So okay, so I think a lot of people have probably seen this already, so
Yeah.
I won't go into much detail. So basically, these two white stones right now are being captured by black.
Yeah, and white is Choi Jeong here, and black is Ichiriki Ryo. Yeah,
Yeah, that's right. That's
Yeah.
right. So Choi Jeong, he plays a pretty innocent looking move. Just
Extend.
extend down, just like a threat to save these two stones.
yeah,
And then Ichiriki, for whatever reason, he plays here.
yeah. What's the problem with that?
So the problem is, so white has this move.
Yeah,
One very unexpected that works. So
yeah, Tari.
black has to connect, and
Yeah.
then white can go here.
So it's taking the stone and connecting his mi.
Yeah. So if black saves this stone, then white can just cut through everything.
Yeah,
But if black connects here, then by capturing this black stone, white has killed this entire black group.
yeah. What's going on?
So this basically, by doing that, not only has she gained like a lot of points, she's also made her group completely safe where it was like under attack before.
Yeah,
So the correct move obviously is just to like connect here.
yeah.
So I don't know any theories as to why he just
My theory was that he had just missed it. He thought white's only move is the Tari on
Yeah,
top,
so-
and then black can connect, and then black can connect under, connect on the other side. And
Yeah, so
when
like this, right?
yeah, that's what I thought. He kind of just missed. He
Yeah.
thought, yeah,
I
Yeah,
think
so-
it's happened in my games, but I'm not a pro and I'm not Ichiriki, so I don't know how he did it. But I call it Atari blindness,
Right.
where
it's like a blind spot.
yeah,
where you're reading out a sequence and you just miss the fact that at some point there's an Atari. So I think he just missed that L1 is actually an Atari.
right.
Maybe this is like a rare position. Maybe you don't see this very often. Maybe that's why like he subconsciously thought maybe like this move just works in all the other situations, so it's going to work here.
And
Because
I
normally why would just push here and then you can just cover.
Yeah.
It's going to be fine.
and I just remember when after Ichiriki's made a move, he's probably realized that he's made a mistake, so he started fanning himself very vigorously at that point. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
like at the beginning when I saw it, I was kind of speculating as to whether he was thinking about something else. Like
Yeah.
I was thinking maybe maybe if he does that, maybe he's like worried about these black stones or something. But the more I think about it, the more I think he just had a blind spot.
Yeah.
Like, see. And the interesting thing is when I ran this with like some weaker AI programs, they also have the same blind spot.
Oh, damn.
So they're all showing me this move that he played is like 80-90% win rate or something.
Yeah.
When it's in fact like 5-10% or something like that.
Wow.
So I think it's like a genuine blind spot. I think this position just doesn't come up
Pretty often. Yeah. So that, but I guess the remarkable thing is, as an indication of how much Ichiriki was leading, I think after that he's still not lost a game. Like I think according to some AI, he was kind of within 1 point of Choi Jeong. So that is
it
kind
was
of
almost even by the end of the game, even after this mistake.
Yeah. So that kind of gives you an indication of how much Ichiriki was leading. And by the way, that might be the best a man player have done against Choi Jeong until the final, because Yang Dingshin and Byun Sangil didn't fare as well, nearly as well as Ichiriki. Anyway, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what to say. I feel sorry for him a little bit, but I think maybe he just needs to like invest in like a better AI or CPU or GPU or something. Get like a GeForce 3090 or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Obviously, training with like programs that have blind spots or something. I don't know.
Yeah. All right.
No idea what's going on here, but anyway.
All right.
Oh dear. So, got any other candidates for bad moves?
Oh, this is
the Zhao Chenyu versus the Kim Jiseok game.
Kim Jiseok.
Oh, this was the first round, I think.
Yeah.
This is round 1. Yeah, this is where you find all the good stuff. Round 1.
Yeah. This is round 1. I think this is where Zhao Chenyu made a huge mistake in the Yosei.
Yeah, because by the time you get to like round 3 and semis, like no one's really making like mistakes, right?
Yeah.
Actually, I feel like this mistake is a little bit misunderstood.
Right.
So I'll try to explain the best I can. So the mistake is here.
Yeah.
So he plays this sequence of moves.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, the percentage just drops, right?
Right.
The sequence up to here, then he just goes from winning to completely losing.
Yeah.
So, when you look at it, just like on face value, nothing looks like that wrong, right? So it's kind of like, he plays a few moves in White's territory, but then White's just answering them, right? So it's not like as if he's losing a ton of points.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like giving away stones. All right, so let's just try to go through like what's going on. Actually, this move that he played, B4, it's actually like a test to get 1 extra point.
Right.
Right. So you've got to keep in mind the context of this game. This is like a half-point game, so everybody needs like as many points as possible. So Black is going to need to get that extra point in this corner.
Yeah.
Right. If he doesn't do that, he's not going to win. Right. So this is the test to get that extra point.
Yeah.
Right. So this is the sequence. It's correct.
Yeah.
It's the correct idea. I mean, it's what it is. Okay, so what Black would like to do, okay, let's start from the beginning. So what Black would like to do is Black would like to play here.
Yeah.
And then normally White is not going to, like 99% of the time, White is not going to block like this because this turns into a ko, right?
Yeah.
And it's like almost like a picnic ko for Black.
Yeah.
Because White's like losing so much and Black is losing not that much in comparison.
Yeah.
So normally White would just block here.
Yeah.
And then later on, when Black approaches, Black will need to take these 3 stones off the board by adding an extra move.
Yeah.
Right, so that's how that normally plays out. So at this point, you can always activate this test.
Right.
Now, since white would like to capture off these 4 stones anyway, the best move, like white would like to capture them like this.
Yeah, but then there's a net at e5 or something.
Yeah, but at this point in time, white actually can't do that because black can just come in here, right?
Yeah,
Right. So white has to play this ugly looking move instead.
yeah,
And then when black sees that, black's going to go, well, okay, then I can just come in normally like this.
yeah,
And then I can do this. And now this is going to be in double Atari soon. So white has to capture this.
yeah,
Right. And then, so again, at the end, white has to not add like another move.
yeah,
So that's where black is kind of gaining a point, right? So
Yeah.
white has essentially played like an
got
extra
basically
stone to
yeah,
capture this.
yeah, basically got move 9 in your diagram for free, basically.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, okay,
If black changes the order of play, for example, it's not going to work,
yeah,
right? So if black comes in first and then does this, then white's not going to like play here.
yeah,
White's just going to capture them like this.
yeah,
And then obviously black still has this forcing move, but white can just capture these 4 stones.
right,
So white can save like an extra move by not capturing this stone.
yeah,
All right, so that's what black needed to accomplish in this corner.
yeah,
Except he changed the order. So instead of playing here first,
yeah,
he played this. He activated the test-G first. So
Right.
normally it wouldn't matter,
Yeah.
but in this specific game, it actually does. And the reason is because once you play all these moves here, black actually loses a lot of local co-threats
right,
for this code.
yeah,
I mean, black still has to play it. In the game, he lost because he didn't play the code. So in the game, he just connected here, thinking that would be okay. But
yeah,
this is the exact sequence where white doesn't have to capture this black stone. So black didn't get an extra point here.
right,
So it's like, white managed to block here.
for free,
Instead of-
basically.
Yeah, instead of B1, white managed to block at C1.
Yeah,
So black really needed to play this code. Except the problem is, I think because of this exchanges here, then black doesn't have like enough co-threats maybe. Or maybe the co-threats like kind of tight.
yeah,
Like it's not clear if black has enough or not. So basically what black needed to do was do this now. So that
so basically he gets at least two, 3 co-threads that he could have used.
yeah, so basically if you do this code now, black has all these co-threats
Yeah,
waiting. So black can just do this code now. And there's like a couple more co-threats here, I think. So there's at least like 1 extra co-thread, I believe, compared to in the game.
yeah,
Yeah, so basically, yeah, that's what happened. You needed to play this code.
very nice. That's why we need you. Because I think I just remember watching this sequence. I didn't really understand what's going on, and I kind of
Yeah,
just assumed that they kind of just lost points just because. But it's actually quite intricate the way he loses that one point, which caused him to lose his game by half a point.
Yeah, so yeah, do try this. So this move in itself is pretty good. It's not like it's just that he played it at the wrong time, so to speak.
Very nice.
All right, next. Oh, this one I really like. This one. This is like
This is Kwon Hyojin versus Sumire. Nakamura.
yeah, that's
Nakamura Sumire.
So-
Yeah.
Kwon Hyojin is black.
Yeah.
And Sumire is white. Actually, I think this is like my favorite mistake in this tournament.
Right.
it's just like, wow, I don't know. There's just quite a lot to it, I think. And I don't know, I think maybe they were low on time or something, because maybe if they had enough time, they could have found the correct move.
Right.
Okay, so just to quickly recap the context. So I think Black is leading on points on the board right now. So I think all Black has to do right now is to save this Black group. So you can either connect to here or like connect there. Either one. And if Black manages to do that, then Black's gonna win, I think. With the white groups, so these two groups are actually in a temporary seki at the moment. So neither group can capture either group. But it depends on the status of the surrounding white group here. So if any part of that surrounding white group dies, then not only does that part of the group die, but then later on in the game, Black can actually then capture this white group as well. So that basically means that White can't lose any part of this white dragon.
Yep.
Right, so there's nothing else that's big enough to compensate for that, basically. Right, so in the game, Sumire is going to try to capture this Black group, right, obviously. Try to win the game, right? And Black has to come up with the right refutation to save it. So in the game, I think Kwon, he played this move, and that pretty much like loses instantly because it's just not connected. So in the game, Sumire just played like the most simple move you can think of, just like here. Right, so Black is not connected. So if Black, I think if Black does something like this, you can just like, cut it off. And if Black goes like this, then there's no way to connect this to here. So what Black should have done, I don't know. Did you guys see what the Tetsuji was?
No, I don't recall.
Nope.
What should Black do here?
So Black, so it has something to do with this group. So what Black should do is Black should try to threaten to save this thing.
Yeah.
So J11?
Yeah. And the way to do that is, so I think Black should... Wait, no. Alright, so Black should play here.
Right.
Hmm.
And now Black
So
can
what-
run.
Well, okay, so White can definitely cut this group off now, so
Yeah.
White can just highlight. But the problem is, now Black can just run this, and this stone at 1 is perfectly placed to protect the cut. Right, and if these two white groups are cut off, then one of them is going to die. So if you save this group, for example, then this group is going to die. And if you try to save this group, like it's not clear even if you can, then you can just cut off this other group, and this other group is going to die. And if you remember, if either group dies, then White just loses the entire thing in the top right corner.
Right.
So that's like way too big, like more than enough to compensate for anything here. So on the other hand, if White tries to protect, tries to sort of like protect that stone from leaving, then like by playing on this side, then black can just connect. Like this, I believe.
I gotta be honest. This Tetsuji does look like very hard to discover.
Yeah, I think probably they probably would be like low on time at this stage of the game, so
Yeah.
it would be like hard to find.
Yep.
But yeah, I think, but it's like the crucial part of the game, right? It's
Yeah.
like it decides like whether you like win or lose, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they were both in Byoyomi at the time, though.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you can't fault them for that, but it does like make quite an exciting and interesting like situation.
Yes, agreed.
All right, so next candidate,
Oh, we got another candidate.
it's got to be Byun Sangil versus Choi.
Oh, the semi-final. Byun Sangil.
I love it.
And I probably won't point out like maybe I'm not going to point out any move in particular because maybe this whole game just felt like one bad move or something. I don't know. So like,
Very nice.
I don't know if you agree, but it feels to me Byun is quite inconsistent.
Yep.
He can, yeah, as in some days he can outplay anyone, and on other days he'll just play absolute garbage and just get completely bamboozled and punished for it.
Like yeah, like so I think with other pros, like sometimes if they get themselves into a bad situation, they'll try to like they'll manage to like stabilize the game like temporarily and then just kind of like go from there and just not like completely disintegrates. So when Byun is when he's good, then yeah, he can be really good, but sometimes, you know, every now and then you get this game where he just goes from like bad to worse and then even worse. Like I've seen games where he starts bad, he goes like -5 points, -10 points, and then later he's like at -30, -40 points.
Yeah.
Like it just keeps going down like a spiral in some of these games.
Yeah.
And this definitely felt like one of them.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I guess I was a little bit disappointed, but I think, like to his credit, like I think his tactics were right. I think he just misjudged like how powerful like his, I guess his situation. I don't know. So I guess his first mistake was not. So at this point, he had like an opportunity to just connect these two weak groups together, and he just didn't do it. He just wanted to come down here, and I think what he was thinking was that this group has got some problems.
Yeah.
So he's thinking in his mind that he wants to attack it, and he's kind of right about that. So at this point, when Black jumps out, it's actually. So later on in the game, he wanted to play this clamp, right? So if he wanted to play this clamp, it's actually the time to play it, like right now, not later on. So right now, it's actually fine because there's enough room for this white group to escape.
Right.
But after he plays a few more moves here, and then Black gets this move. Now it's different. Now he wants to play the clamp, so it's the correct like thinking, like it's the correct idea, but it just doesn't work right now because of this extra blackstone.
Yes, but he still just powers through with it anyway.
Yeah, I don't know, like I don't know, maybe he's a little bit stubborn in this spot, but I guess he had a plan and he just wanted to go with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you know that's what happens. and I think his sense is right. Like for example, if Black just kind of just turns around here, there's actually some bad RG in this like Black group.
Yeah.
Like you can have like if you don't answer this correctly, like this Black group can have some like issues
Yeah.
in terms of like the capturing race. So he's right in thinking that there's something there. It's just that I think the timing of his moves is like one step off. So it just feels like he's getting crushed. But I don't know. I don't know what to say. I don't know. It's just one of those things.
Yeah.
Did you see the videos of Byun's?
Yeah, his emotional breakdown. I think a lot of that's been going around.
By emotional breakdown, I think you mean he just slapped himself savagely slapped his own face.
He's channeling a Kurje or something.
Oh mate, he outdid it. He outdid Koje.
Right, Koje was nothing, right?
He's the new self-slap master, I think.
Yeah.
I think he probably felt like he's obviously disappointed with the way he played this game, but I think also he feels like this is like one of the few chances that he's going to get into the final.
Yeah.
Let alone win like a World Cup or something. This is like one of his best chances, and he just like blew it.
Yeah.
So that's probably why. I mean, I can understand like that kind of feeling. Like it's pretty disappointing.
Yeah. Yeah. So Sin, do you have any other awesome moves to show us? Because if not, we can move on to the LG Cup preview.
Yeah, we can go on to the LG Cup.
All right.
Call it a wrap for the Samsung Cup then.
Yeah, thanks for this review of the Samsung Cup, especially the final games and also the interesting moves of the game. Now, so obviously after the Samsung Cup, this coming Sunday we're gonna have the LG Cup. The LG Cup it's gonna resume at the quarterfinal stage. Now, of course, I would much prefer the comps are played like Samsung Cup, just in one go, and from beginning to end. But the LG Cup is not. It's broken up into at least 3 sections, if I recall correctly. And this would be the second section after they've played the round of 24 and round of 16. So just a reminder of the quarterfinalists. They are Kurje versus Kang Dong-yun, Mi Yu-ting versus Shin Jinseo, Ding Hao versus Kim Myung-hyun, and Yang Jingshin versus Shibano Toramaru. So let's quickly go through them one by one. Kurje versus Kang Dong-yun. What do you guys think?
Oh, I'm very keen to get Zin's opinion on this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I
Don't care.
Well, what do you think about?
I think. I don't know. I'm just speculating, but I feel like Kurje is a bit distracted with something. I don't know.
Yeah.
You think Koje might not win this one?
I feel like his performance lately hasn't been great.
Yeah.
But he's still number one in China, and you can tell that he's very, very popular. He does some streams, and he's got a lot of supporters because when he has his streams, there's tons of people commenting on them.
Yeah, and most of the comments were like, "Well, you're streaming, but Shin Jinseo is studying. Go." So something like that.
Yeah, I don't know if streaming is like a good benchmark for playing good Go.
mate. Let me tell you one thing. Hikaru Nakamura is one of the top chess players. He streams all the time. He's just recently won the chess 960 World Championship.
Yeah, this is true.
Yeah, so streaming improves your game. Proven. Yeah, no, maybe not.
No, I don't know. I feel like until he like gets back gets back on track, I don't have that much confidence in him at the moment, unfortunately.
All right. So I'm voting against Kerje as well. So
And then he also lost his like 10 Dan on Fox. Is that related to him just losing a bunch of games?
I'm not sure if he lost it or he applied to have it cancelled or something, whatever it was. I'm not really sure, but yeah.
That's a bit weird.
Yeah.
How he just lost his 10 Dan title. That's just really weird.
Yeah. So that's it for Kerje versus Kang Dong-gyun. Mi Yu-ting versus Shin Jinseo. They meet yet again. I don't know. They seem to be meeting each other very often. Of course, they met in the Samsung Cup. Of course, they played in the Jar League, and they also got drawn together in the Kuksu Mountains Cup. And I don't know what else.
They
of course,
also
in
played
Nongshim
each
Cup.
other twice in the Nongshim Cup.
Correct. So Mi Yu-ting is getting a lot of practice with Shin Jinseo, and I do believe he's only won one of them. And one of the games were actually annulled because of a technical issue. So, what do you think about this game, Zin and Gaza?
I think he was close to beating him this one other time, wasn't he?
Yeah, it's the Nongshim Cup. It was the Nongshim.
Yeah, Nongshim Cup. Yeah,
he was up ahead. I don't know.
Yeah,
I think he's
But,
got.
I believe in his last two games in the Kuksu Mountains International and in the Samsung Cup, meeting wasn't that close to winning either. Those.
Right.
I think they were pretty
like
clinical.
in his Samsung Cup game, like I think at some point Shin Jinseo he made a mistake and the game actually went back to 50-50.
right.
Like at the end, so he did have a chance. He just didn't capitalize on it. So, like if he can find if he can find a way to he's definitely got a chance.
Yeah,
He seems to have these chances against Shin Jinseo, whereas other opponents don't seem to get these chances.
right.
That sounds like you're not writing off Mi Yu-ting there. Sounds like you're giving him.
Keep it exciting. Maybe he's got a chance.
An upset might happen.
Yeah. Let's see. So if this happens, this could be one of. So this will stop Shin Jinseo's record of making consecutive finals at 6. So let's see if that will happen. Of course, Shin Jinseo can lose to Mi Yu-ting as we saw in the Jar League. So, and then the next is Ding Hao versus Kim Hyun. So we saw Kim Hyun's performance in the Samsung Cup. He made a semi-final, losing to Shin Jinseo. Now, surprisingly, despite Ding Hao being a reasonably big name in China, he was as ranked as high as number 2 in China at one point. And he's won a lot of domestic titles last year. This is actually Ding Hao's first quarterfinal appearance. So what do you guys think about Ding versus Kim here?
It's hard to say because Ding Hao didn't even qualify for the Samsung Cup.
Yeah.
So we haven't seen much of him recently. So it's hard to know his form. And if you do recall, his form at the start of the year was so bad that he didn't even make the Asian Games team. He didn't even come close, really.
No, in fact, he came dead last in the Asian Games qualifier. So
yeah, and I think that was probably also the period where he was trying to qualify for the Samsung Cup, maybe. And
it just wasn't going his way.
I think in the Jar League he's been doing okay, but
I think it was just middling.
But and obviously he made the quarterfinals here. I think he beat Kim Jiseok in the round of 16.
Right.
I can't confirm that, but I think he did. But on the other hand, Kim Young-hoon, he had a very solid Samsung Cup. He's made the semi-final. He on the other hand, he is having a really bad Jar League, but his recent form seems to be good. And yeah, it's hard to say just because I haven't seen much of Ding Hao play, and it's clear that he can have form swings. But I would favour Kim Young-hoon in this game.
Yep. Sin again. Don't care. No opinion.
No, I don't really know much about Ding Hao. I thought
love it.
Yeah, we haven't really seen much of him lately. So
yeah,
it's kind of like I don't know, just out of the picture for so long.
Yeah.
Yes, it does seem like that with Ding Hao.
Yeah. but rest assured he's still around. He is also going to uni, but of course receiving a lot less criticism than Koche for whatever. And then we, of course, last but not least, unless yeah, okay, don't have a good reason. But anyway, Yang Dingshin versus Shibano Toramaru. So it's Shibano, of course, is only the last remaining Japanese player. If he beats Yang Dingshin, who would only become the second player, Japanese player in recent memory to have made a semi, because the last time a Japanese player to have done that would be Ichiriki Ryo. He made a semi of the In Cup, and before that, Yama made a final of the LG Cup at some point. What do you think about Shibano Toramaru's chances?
Well, if you're asking me first, Shibano seems to be in the best form he's been in maybe 18 or months to 2 years.
Yep.
He just won the Meijin title.
Yep.
That's a domestic major in Japan, a very big one. He seems to be going okay in other leagues at the moment in Japan. But he didn't participate in the Samsung Cup because he was playing the Meijin.
Yeah.
And he isn't playing in the JAR League or anything like that. So hard to know how his form will translate internationally. He qualified for the quarterfinals here by beating, I believe, Wang Wanjun from Taiwan.
Yep.
Yang Dingjing is, well, he had a pretty bad game against Choi Jeong, but other than that, he's very solid, very consistent international player. Despite Shibano's recent form, I would have to favor Yang Dingjing.
Yep. So yeah, I think that's what most people would go for.
But I want to know what Zin thinks about this one.
I think, I agree. I think Shibano has been doing well in these games recently.
Yeah.
I like watching him play, so I'm hopeful that he'll make a good effort.
Oh, there you go, Shibano's there you have it. Shibano's going to win, it seems.
Yeah, maybe
He's got
just
the tick of
maybe.
approval from Zin.
I think it'll be good for some Japanese players to kind of make it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
In bigger tournaments.
Wholeheartedly agree there.
Yeah, it'll be nice to see. And it's not just like Korea in the Samsung Cup finals, basically.
Yeah. So let's hope to see more of that. Now that's probably the biggest game of the next week. So let's quickly look at the calendar. Just so that, of course, today we have the Oza game 2, Yama Yuta versus Yu Zhengqi. I can let you know that Yama Yuta won that game by half a point, I do believe. And over the weekend, I do believe there is a Rookie King final between Wang Xinghao and Zhou Hongyu. I'm not sure if it's been cancelled. Hopefully, it's still going ahead. And of course, we have the Sam LG Cup coming up over the weekend. And I do believe there's a Tengen Game 3 between Seki Kotaro and Ida Atsushi on the Monday. And it might be, I'm not sure if it's still going ahead, but Choi Jeong versus Yu Zhiying, this special best of 5 might just be coming. So next week as well. And of course, also Game 3, Yu Zhengqi versus Yama Yuta, is a must-win game for Yu because he's lost the first 2 games. So that's what it looks like for the calendar. Any comments over there, gentlemen?
Well, obviously the LG Cup is the main thing.
Yeah.
Don't really care for the other games. I mean, it's the LG Cup. It's pretty cool to have the LG Cup so soon after the Samsung Cup. I think they did that last year as well. And then not long after the LG Cup, I mean, it's not next week, but it's the end of the month. There's going to be the Nongshim Cup is back.
Correct. Yes.
So that'll be interesting as well.
Yeah, lots of good games to look forward to. Well, again, thanks Zin, our special guest, for reviewing the Samsung Cup for us. And thanks, Gaza, again. And I'm Xiaodai, of course. And we shall see you next time.
All right, awesome. Thanks,
Awesome.
Zin, for
Thanks.
coming.
Thanks.
You're
Yin.
welcome.
All right. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.